in Ireland. You know?
It is way better.
But, hey, here's to all, it seems like a third of this county's Irish. So
Chris, I wonder if we'll have Guinness at the new Jimmy World Stadium. Chris, what is your reaction to what happened yesterday? And it looks now more than ever like this thing's going to get built.
Strange days are these, I'll tell you. I think we didn't underestimate the fact that the state senate was probably going to give that $600 million to the Haslam Sports Group. They from day one said that's where things were going. So that didn't really surprise us. What did surprise us the last few weeks was that they're taking the money from you and me, taking it out of unclaimed funds, which the state is basically making a provision for funds that are more than 10 years in that fund. They're going to avail it to Haslam Sports Group for the stadium and to other sports facilities, but they haven't been real clear yet about what other means. I think to us, the problem is what they should be doing is letting every citizen in Ohio know that you've got unclaimed funds. So I keep saying, check unclaimedfunds.ohio.gov because that's your money. That's not Haslam Sports money. That's not Jimmy and D Haslam money.
$4 billion.
Well,
how is that even possible?
Bill and Betty Buckeye have money in that fund, but it's their money. It's not Jimmy and D Haslam. So anyways, that one threw us just a few weeks ago. What didn't throw us is that the state was going to throw $600 million of Ohioans' money toward this project. From what I hear, the legislature, the people who are involved in this, many of the rank and file are not happy. I wouldn't be either if I lived in one of the other 87 counties of Ohio that one team got $600 million. I wouldn't be happy about it either, and I'm not happy about it because the way this money's coming to us is a really strange source. But the other thing I got to say, and we can talk about this Modell law that changed during the cover of night, but I think the big question to Jimmy and D Haslam is you still need $600 million, at least in your framework that you gave us. They wanted $1.2 billion, from the public. I used to deal in millions, now we're in billions. $1.2 billion from the public. They got half of that from the state of Ohio, but they say they're coming to the county for the other half. But they wrote me sort of a pouty letter May 15th and said, we don't need Cuyahoga County's money to execute on our project. And that was a win for you guys. That's a win for the taxpayers because we clawed back $600 million.
So they're going to pay the $600?
Yeah, we held out and we think we've won this for you. That's the question, Jimmy Haslam. Are you going to pay it out of pocket? Where are you going to find the other $600 million to make Brook Park work?
Is there any circumstance you would help them out?
If they come home to downtown Cleveland, we have said we'll talk.
But Chris, it's just not going to happen.
No, and that's the circumstance where we would help. And we were clear with them in March about that. That's why I got that May 15th pouty letter, because they finally have realized that we're serious. And then they said in their own letter, in their own admission, we don't need your money anyways, which was a win for us. So, but look, if they come downtown, Riz, we haven't talked about the syntax issue yet. We have said that we would support their efforts to use syntax for the downtown stadium, and that would help them with that renovation, that transformation. It would help them build a new one. If they want to build a dome stadium downtown, it would help them. But what we're not going to be a part of is something that's extractive. They keep saying Brook Park is additive. It's not. It's moving jobs from one city to the next at the taxpayer's expense, who's going to have to spend all the money on infrastructure when in any community you come from, you got potholes, you got streets, you got bridges that need a fix. And my entire budget for the county is $70 million. They asked for $70 million recently for just one project, their own, and that's just the beginning. I talked to the airport director from Cleveland Hopkins today. He's got a problem. Houston, we got a problem here. He says, look, I got passengers who got to get to and from the airport. There's one way to get in. It's 237. Whether you're coming from 480, I-71, Brook Park Road, or Snow Road, you come in through 237. It's the same cattle chute that we're going to now be trying to move 50, 60, 70,000 fans out of a stadium. You're DOA trying to get to a flight at that time. And then I talked to the guys at the freight carriers at FedEx, at DHL, at the United States Postal Service and UPS. They all have hubs over there, and they're going to be impacted. So nobody's doing the real homework. Ohio legislature, do you care about Ohio's busiest airport? And that's Cleveland Hopkins Airport.
Chris, what about the existing site of Huntington Bank Field?
Yeah.
Now that becomes something you guys got to figure out.
We told the Haslam's, first of all, we showed them a plan where they could have 100 acres to build around an existing stadium that they could renovate. It's 25 acres to the north, 9 to the west, and umpteen acres to the east and to the south. At all total about 100 acres of development. We showed them that because we said you can do what you want to do in Brook Park, but do it here, and it would be additive. It would be adding to the convention center and the Hilton Hotel next door, everything we've built. So my first proposal to them is come back to your original idea, guys. And that original idea was the transformation of the lakefront.
That's not going to happen.
So if it doesn't happen, development and lakefront development is delayed because it's delayed because of the presence of the stadium that they got to play out the games through the 29 season, which I assume is going to go further out because 28-29 season, that is close if they're going to try to build a stadium. And if you go build this thing, don't build it in a way that you suffer from it. You should do it right. But again, don't do it with our money. Find your own money to do it. And if you leave us, if you really do leave us, you're making a mistake, but you're actually delaying lakefront development
Chris,
because we got to sit out through those numbers of seasons, take down the stadium, and the North Coast Waterfront Development guys are already saying to us, with the anchor, the developers are attracted to being around the stadium because it's an activity.
So Chris, just to be clear on this point, the
Yeah.
Browns are going to play on the lakefront through the 2028 season.
Yeah.
That is that they're this
They have a lease.
Well,
Yeah.
hold on. This
Yeah.
conversation about them trying to play in Columbus while the stadium is getting built, that's not going to happen. They're going to be
agree.
on the lakefront until they move into the new building.
By the way, I think the
Exactly.
Browns are cool with that. I don't think they're trying to get out from the stadium. What you're saying is whatever you build down there is going to delay, but the
Right.
stadium's a couple of acres. Like what are we going to do with that airport finally? What are we going to?
Oh, we got to remove it. I've said this to the senators.
Yeah,
I
but
said
it
to
takes
Senator Marino. I said-
years to get. Like you pleaded to them
Yeah.
last time you were on the air.
Yeah.
Nothing's happened in the
I know.
month, and
I know. I want to know if Senator Marino or Houston would listen up and really kind of take a stance with us, Clevelanders.
you have to
Want
get
Burke
approval
Lakefront
from the
Cup.
federal government.
That's
to do
right.
that.
That's right. That's why we could use our U.S. Senate to get there. And we think, look, I just looked at the county airport plans just yesterday. We've got land out at the county airport to build and actually take in those what they call fixed base operators, which are around the Burke Lakefront Airport. We
Right.
could take them over to county airport. Some of that could go to Hopkins itself.
This is
You
in
could open
Highland
up 400.
Heights, where you
Yeah,
guys-
exactly.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Great little
Richmond
airport,
Heights,
by the
yeah.
way.
Present boarding.
For
Yeah.
all the really cool kid shots.
Yeah, it could be expanded on. So, listen, to me, the triple play is the reason the stadium activates development is people want to be around activity generation, and they will build with the anticipation of the stadium renovation around the stadium sooner. They got to wait it out, take the thing down, then that's going to slow lakefront development. But my triple play, I've always said, is renovate what you got, use syntax to help support that renovation here downtown. Let's look together to actually deactivate Burke. And let's look at building you a future on Burke on the west side. We could have marina space out there. We could have hotel, everything they want in Brook Park. There's a there on the lakefront. In Brook Park, love the city of Brook Park. Work with Mayor Orcutt and his team out there on a lot of things, but it's a manufacturing site near an Arizona. It needs to be something that actually generates jobs out there that aren't just taking jobs from another place.
Chris, at what point are you going to jump on board with this? You're the Cuyahoga
I'm
County
holding the
executive.
line, and I talked to county council today, some members of council today about exactly that. Hold the line, because listen, they held the line in Los Angeles, and for SoFi, for the Rams, they built it out of their own pocket, right? We have done the public already the service of not costing you $600 million that Jimmy and Dee are asking for. Jimmy
From
and
the
Dee,
county.
Jimmy and Dee have $600 million to put toward their own project. Put it to your own project. Now you got what you wanted out of the legislature in a very curious way, but you got what you wanted from the legislature. You're not getting it from us. So I don't have to necessarily be in this discussion other than to do things like protect the airport, protect the infrastructure, protect the city of Brook Park itself. They got 35 cops out there. On any given day, you need 100 to man up.
Now, I know that our audience is Browns fans.
Oh, yeah.
We had a poll, though, today. Nick, please tell the county executive. I asked the question, how do you feel about the stadium moving to Brook Park? Love it, hate it, or will put up with it?
Yeah, right now, love it is in the lead at 63%, hate it 13%. I'll put up with it 23%.
Hey, listen, I appreciate sports fans and every listener here with you, Rizzo. But I will say,
That's my people,
I will
Chris.
say that might be people. We did a county survey countywide.
Yeah, which
and
I
that-
know it's
you know,
not fair
yeah,
for
no.
my audience, but go ahead.
Well,
Yeah.
that poll showed that 62% want to keep it on the lakefront. There was an undecided that I think bumps that close to 70. I think we're running about 70-30 Cleveland v. Brook Park. But it's not Cleveland versus Brook Park. It's about everybody's downtown.
Chris, what about, listen, it's, we all know that sports teams, when you own an NFL team, I'm just going to stick with the NFL. You can hold cities up for stadiums. They did it in Buffalo. I am told that the Haslam's are actually really being generous with their own money to build this thing, and that they're providing almost 2/3 of the money for this, which is unheard of. The Buffalo, the taxpayers are paying way more. It's not going to be anywhere near our stadium, but as far as I know you don't agree with the whole principle of the thing, but at least they're putting up a lot of their own money.
There's two arguments. There's the principle of where you're putting it. And yeah, I believe very strongly that it belongs downtown. I think that that's been a national model that now Detroit has followed and Minneapolis has followed and Indianapolis, all the places the Browns talk about. We were the national model for them. And now why take away our own national model of having 3 sports teams within walking distance of each other downtown? That's why Detroit brought the Pistons and the Lions back downtown. And Gilbert gets it. Gilbert definitely gets it with the Cavs, and he's doubling down. So there's the why, and that's
Sure.
the why.
I totally get that, and I'm sympathetic to that.
No, I
Hey, you know how many
appreciate it.
downtown business owners I know? I mean,
You guys, I mean, on
Exactly,
Sunday it's
we're one
fun
of
out
them.
here, right?
Yeah, right.
Exactly. But I will say, and it's nice to be down on the riverbanks in this beautiful studio.
Sure.
I keep going back to my friend over at the Flatiron Cafe. He's got this picture up of Jimmy Haslam. He says, "Please, Mr. Haslam, don't make me take my fans to shuttle my fans to Brook Park." I mean, these businesses have invested in the Browns. The Browns should realize that and reinvest in these businesses downtown.